What time is it? It's Packard Folks at time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesat where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokesat and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokesat, and I'm poking at your news. Hello, everybody. This is Packard Pokesat, the midweek show. This is season 6, episode 11. Pumpkins will soon glow in the night. Let's hope we don't also. So with everything that's going on, I'm hoping that we don't end up glowing. Before we get started, we had a guest on last week. It was Tucker from the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. He recently mentioned how he got laid off from his job. If you'd like to help him out, he's got a Patreon, and it's patreon.tntucker. That's letter T. NTUCKER. If you could send him a couple bucks to help him out, or help us out, because we need it too. But right now he's out of work, so if you have an extra $1 or $2 that you'd like to send him, you can certainly do that if you're on Patreon. Okay, Tony, you have a story for us tonight.
Yes, I do, and it's quite the ironic one.
I like irony stories.
Christians booted out of gay-owned Seattle coffee shop.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait till they say, you're discriminated against because we're Christian.
Yeah, well, right back in your face.
Well, technically he did have a good reason. Ben Borgman was incensed that a Christian group had placed a, quote, gross anti-abortion poster in his coffee shop in Seattle that he threw them off the premises.
You know what? I would have done that same thing. If it had been a gay coffee shop or a regular coffee shop, I would have thrown them out too.
Yeah. Let's see. Borgman, according to this report, was furious that the poster, through the use of rainbow colors, insinuated that gays were responsible for abortion.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want to do. Go into a coffee shop that's owned by gays and say, hey, we're going to put up this poster. We're going to blame you for abortion.
Oh, this story gets better.
Oh.
Borgman was filmed on October 1st, losing his cool when the Abolish Human Abortion decided to order drinks in its shop after posting and distributing pro-life pamphlets in the local community. The video was then posted on the group's Facebook page and went viral. AHA yesterday posted this. We're glad that this incident is getting exposure, but it's kind of sad that conservatives are more upset that Christians would be kicked out of a coffee shop for being Christian than they are with the fact that moms and dads are murdering their babies every minute of every day. Oh, God.
Oh, please.
No, I think it says later on in the article that they even deny that the poster was theirs.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking on this, and it says Mr. Davis, I guess he's the guy that's putting the poster up, shown in the video telling the anti-abortionists, including Caleb Head. His last name is Head. I'm not even kidding on that. And Caleb Davis, he was told to get out. He says, saying, I'm gay, you have to leave. He goes, are you denying us service? Mr. Davis asked. He says, yeah, I am. Borgman replied. The confrontation about tolerance then escalated when the activist Jonathan Sutherland was asked if he would watch a sex act. What?
Wow.
If I go get my boyfriend, and I'm not going to say the word because of, YouTube, and in the rear end right here, are you going to tolerate that? Because that would be your choice, he said. Are you going to tolerate it? Yes. Answering my blank question. No, you're going to sit right here and watch it. Blanking watch it. Well, I don't have to blanking tolerate this. Leave, all of you. Tell all your blanking friends, don't blanking come here. When the activist told Berman to turn to Jesus, he responded, yeah, I like behind. I'm not going to say the word. I'm not going to be saved by anything. I'd blank Christ in the blank. Okay, he's hot.
Must be the long hair.
Yeah. Well, if they actually saw what he actually, supposedly looks like, I certainly wouldn't go. So the 52-year-old owner claimed that the anti-abortion protester had been hidden within the shop, said that the full exchange with the activists included one of the activists denying that the graphic anti-abortion materials were their own. That's what you just said, basically, right there.
Yeah, that's the part I was going to bring up. I mean, it's one thing to, do that in a coffee shop where it's owned by a gay person, but to sit there and deny that it's yours, that's just cowardly.
It is. It really is. Own it.
They won't do that, though.
Of course they won't.
They're the ones that putting this out there. I mean, they're 75-80% of the population. If you think that you are getting persecuted, put it out there. Then you can prove how persecuted you're being.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the pamphlet here, or the sign here. This is disgusting. Ugh.
It is. That is really disgusting. Who would give them a fetus to show all chopped up?
Well, they're doing it to get their point across, and then, and they're going to use something this gory. I mean, God, it's just ugh.
It's appeal to emotion. I mean, I've gone to county fairs where they have those kind of pamphlets.
No, you're right. It is an appeal to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
This is just disgusting.
Well, but the thing is, what if if you're out somewhere and you have small children and they see something like that on the ground and they pick it up and go, "Mommy, what's this?" I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's just disgusting.
Yeah. It's just,
Came across that, I'm like, I have to share this.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing. This is horrible. This is just totally nasty.
And it's ironic.
Yeah.
No way.
But I like the fact is that they were kicked out of the shop, Tony, do you have another story for us?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Sheriff's cadet uses his dad's patrol car to pull over his ex.
That's funny.
Officials say that the 22-year-old son of a Florida sheriff's lieutenant took his father's unmarked car and used it to pull over his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend.
That's a good one.
That takes some gumption. It's like, I'm gonna take the squad car. I'm gonna pull over my ex-girlfriend and make her life miserable.
This sounds like a bad romantic comedy.
It does. It does.
Local news outlets report that Christopher Combs, who is a cadet in the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, where his father also works, used flashing red and blue lights to stop the vehicle Saturday night. He ordered the boyfriend to get out of the vehicle. Investigators later found that the father's parked car outside the home was his son's friend.
Wait. I'm gonna go pull somebody over, and I'm just gonna go hang out with my friend. I'm gonna take the squad car over to my friend's house and just hang out. You can't do that, right? You're not supposed to anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the sheriff's spokeswoman, Terry Barber, told the Sentinel, the, quote, son has been fired, effective right now.
All right, this kind of irritates me. We got cops out there who are shooting people of African-American descent and getting away with it, and they're just getting slightly investigated. This is not just them. I mean, they're killing anybody that just looks at them funny half the time, and they don't get fired over that. This one gets them fired. What are our standards? Oh, you misused the police car, you get fired for that. Oh, you shot and killed somebody, we'll just give you some time off.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. He was a cadet, so legally speaking, he was impersonating a police officer.
Yeah, no, I agree with that point. I do agree with that point. And I do like the last part here where it says he was ordered to stay away from the couple and released on bond. He faces multiple charges, including impersonating law enforcement officers. That's ironically funny. It really is.
Oh, I wish I'd been there. I wish I'd been the boyfriend. Don't I know you?
That could be an interesting conversation. Right there, what are you doing? Why are you pulling us over for this? I'm wondering if there was even anything to be pulled over for. Sometimes I do think about kind of stuff like that because I'm out on the road a lot and I see stuff going on. I'm like, oh, if I was a cop, I'd pull you over right now. Or I kind of wish I could just throw a siren on my truck and like I'm just undercover and pull them over and say, you know what you're doing? You're doing a bad. But I would have been doing even worse by impersonating a cop.
God.
Oh, that's just too funny. Too funny. Matt, you have a story for us tonight.
Oh, here we go with Mr. Trump again.
Okay. We got Mr. Trump.
Yes, we do. Trump's Benghazi. 4 dead Americans in Africa. Why hasn't this act of terror drawn the same feverish scrutiny?
If you remember the story about Benghazi, we had troops over there and they couldn't get reinforcements to them, and several people were killed. Turns out that the GOP was the ones that were ultimately responsible for that, but they wanted to blame it on Hillary Clinton, and because I knew that she was going to plan on running for office this last election. So they did everything they could to discredit her. And they had hearing after hearing after hearing. I think they had like 15 hearings or more.
No, it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. But the GOP is like, oh, well, this happened under Trump's watch. Oh, well, we're not going to say anything about that.
Exactly. Well, anyways, so yes, it has been 5 years since the terrorist attacks in Benghazi. And last week, CIA officers disguised in wigs and mustaches testified in court about the pre-dawn ambush on the diplomatic compound. 4 other American soldiers were killed in neighboring Niger. Most Americans may not even be aware that approximately 800 U.S. troops are stationed in the West African nation where jihadist groups have taken root. So as part of the never-ending war on terror, the United States has also set up a drone base in Niger's capital of Niamey. Contrary to the focused commitment to reverse every policy put in place by his predecessor, President Donald Trump has decided to carry on with the construction of a second drone base in Niger, commissioned by Barack Obama.
I just got to say this. A lot of stuff that Trump has been doing, he's been trying to reverse a lot of the things that Obama has done. I'm surprised he didn't go, oh, well, Obama wanted that? Well, we're not going to do that now.
Right.
I'm wondering, maybe no one told him yet that Obama wanted that. I don't know.
Well, that's possible, but you never know. But if he has an interest in it, then he's okay with it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think most of his MO lately is just to reverse anything that Obama's done that was positive. Maybe in this instance, he's going ahead with it because it will make Obama look bad in the long run. I don't know. I don't know. I noticed here it says also American forces have never been sanctioned to an official combat mission in Niger, a landlocked West African nation about twice the size of Texas, with a population just of over 20 million people. But they have been long fighting against Islamic terror extremists in the country and surrounding region. On October 4th, 4 Green Brave soldiers were killed and 2 more were injured after their group of a dozen U.S. soldiers were ambushed while conducting a joint patrol with about 40 Nigerian soldiers. And the fact is that no one is talking about this. Is really irritating.
Yeah, well, it's hush-hush. You know? They want it that way.
Yeah, it seems
they don't want to stir up controversy because then people say, oh, well, wait a minute. What happened with Hillary here? You know, and now this happened on Donald Trump's watch. And nobody's saying nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if the president farted, it would be the fart heard around the world.
Yeah. Oh, that was if it was Obama, that's for sure. You remember the tan suit controversy? Oh, my God, he's wearing a tan suit. Why is the president wearing a tan suit? And they made a big deal about that.
Is this Trump or Obama?
Obama was wearing a tan suit, and they made a big deal about that. In fact, they are still making big deals about stuff that the Democrats are supposedly doing. There's this one group I'm in on Google Plus, and these people post all kinds of hateful stuff about the Democratic Party, and they're saying, oh, it was the Democrats that were in collusion, not the Republicans. It's like, really? And the right wing is still attacking Michelle Obama, saying, oh, she was a trans woman. Even if that was true, that wouldn't mean anything. She gave birth.
Saying that she was transgendered?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think what I found most disgusting about, I have plenty of disagreements with Michelle Obama, but I think a few times on Fox News, they were actually protesting her, I think, hot lunch program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And Fox News was in there, oh, we can't have that.
I think I remember that
kind of attitude.
Yeah, we can't have kids getting hot lunch because, oh my gosh, we're going to feed children. We can't have that.
It'll bankrupt us.
Yeah, we'd rather make those children starve. We want to force them to be born, but then, after that, we don't care.
Well, actually, my next story it's about costing too much money.
Sure, go ahead. Let's hear the story.
GOP lawmaker says emergency rooms should be able to turn people away.
I'm sorry, your arm is coming off your shoulder, but you don't have the insurance, so you're going to have to go home and sew that up yourself.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Representative Diane Black, Republican from Tennessee, proposed on Friday that hospital emergency rooms should be able to turn patients away to help keep healthcare costs down. It says, quote, I am an emergency room nurse, Black told MSNBC host Chuck Todd on Friday. There are people that come into my emergency room that I, the nurse, was the first one to see them. I could have sent them to a walk-in clinic or their doctor the next day, but because of a law that Congress put into place to say no, I have to treat everybody that walks into that emergency room.
Okay, hold on for a second. A number of years ago, the GOP was saying that we don't need health care. If you need health care, just go to the emergency room. They were saying this. And now this Republican is saying, oh, we want to be able to turn away people even there. You need health care? Go to the emergency room. Oh, wait a minute. We don't want you to go to the emergency room. We want to turn you away even there. That's nonsense. Every time the GOP turns around, they're trying to, kill Americans.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
This is what you have when you have, big pharma pretty much owning our government.
It's crazy.
Like Bernie Sanders says, all the things that are wrong with our system goes back to money and politics.
Yeah, it's all money and politics at one point.
Thank you, Supreme Court.
Yep. Yeah. Also, it says you took away our ability to say, no, an emergency room is not the proper place. And then you put a burden on top of that to say you must do that. And she is also running for governor of Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, people are coming in that need help. We better lock the doors because those people might need help.
Yeah. Oh, God.
How humanitarian of her.
And she's a nurse.
If she's a nurse, I don't want her treating me.
No, I don't want her treating me either.
And here's a better question. Like, why do you need a law to do your job?
Yeah. That's like saying we had to make a law not to dump toxic waste and materials into places where we're going to get drinking water from. We had to make laws about that. Even a beagle knows not to go where it eats.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just a waste of a law. That kind of law shouldn't exist. It should be common sense that, emergency rooms can't turn people away.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, here it says, at issue is the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, which was signed into law by former President Ronald Reagan. The GOP has a tendency to fall over themselves when you mention Ronald Reagan because they're the golden boy. He's the one that put this into place. If you have a problem with it, you're just taking a dump on your own golden boy. You're saying your golden boy was wrong.
Right. Well, you know what? Just for sake of argument, if this thing did pass, if this was a law, then anybody who's important, like any congressman or whatever, comes into the hospital, deny them treatment, see how they feel.
I'd like to do that.
But no, you can't do that, though.
Yeah. Now, like I said, it was signed into law by former President Ronald Reagan in 1996. It was a congressional response to stories of patient dumping. Hospitals would deny treatment to patients or send them elsewhere, usually with the individuals that don't have insurance. Many of these patients were unemployed or people of color. It says here also, those transferred individuals were more likely to die, and then delayed care often jeopardized the patient's health. So this happened a lot back in the 1960s and 50s. If someone was black or whatever, they come to the hospital and they needed medical treatment. It's like, oh, I know you have a life-threatening situation, but this is a whites-only hospital. And so you have to go elsewhere. You might die along the way to another hospital that's 60 miles away or 10 miles away or whatever it is, but we don't care. You're a different color than I am, so you don't belong here. Or you don't have insurance, so you don't belong here. How do I know I'm going to get paid for doing this? If you go into the healthcare system, you're doing it because you want to help people. I would hope so anyway. You have to have that kind of compassion. This woman is showing no compassion for anybody but herself.
Right. It's sickening.
It is sickening.
I can't believe she's even in that profession to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. She's a nurse.
Yeah.
ER nurse.
Yeah. I wouldn't put her in charge of anything or passing laws based on anything she says.
And she's running for governor of Tennessee.
Yeah.
While we are poking at your news, you can poke us at Facebook and Twitter, or poke us with an email at ppapodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a message at 662-709-PPAP. Join us live on YouTube/Packard Pokesat on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. Be part of the conversation by live chatting with us during the show. Enjoy the show? Help support us by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/Packard Pokesat. Or look awesome by buying something at cafepress.com/Packard Pokesat. No money, no problem. You can help us by sharing the show with friends and rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
the Bible,
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable,
fire,
I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. Well, I have a couple stories here that I want to get in here. Last week, we talked about a guy who had put out a challenge on Facebook, basically saying that he would turn himself in if the police department got over 1,000 reshares or whatever, which it did. It got way past that. Now, this happened in Michigan. A wanted Michigan man turned himself in finally after losing the bet he made with police on Facebook. Michael Zadell had promised to give himself up to police if a Facebook post about an existing warrant received more than 1,000 shares, which I just mentioned. The 21-year-old promised to even bring them donuts if they won their challenge, which they did. He goes, "I'm not worried about it," he wrote. "If your next post gets 1,000 shares, I'll turn myself in with a dozen donuts, and that's a promise. I'll even pick up every piece of litter around your public schools." Apparently, between the time we had brought out the story and then he finally turned himself in. Now, this evening, this is from the Redford Township Police Department. They posted this on Facebook. This evening at approximately 6:30 p.m., Michael Zadford made good on his promise to turn himself into the RTPD for his outstanding warrants. He walked in on his own. Not only did he bring the donuts, he brought one bagel. I wonder who the bagel is for. We would again like to express our gratitude for the support for all who followed this and shared it, left positive feedback. Mr. Zidell was logged and we'll have a hearing tomorrow morning on the 17th District Court. So this was a couple days ago now. So, and they have pictures of the donuts he brought and the bagel. So in a follow-up post, the department said he may or may not be a man of his word, adding, "It's our experience that anyone who gets caught at some point, he has drawn a lot of attention to himself, and that has made it hard for him to hide from us and hard to hide from reality." The fugitive eventually surrendered to police, fulfilling his promise by arriving with a station with the donuts and a bagel. Zidell made good on his promise to turn himself in for his outstanding warrants, the department said. So I'm kind of glad. And he was only sentenced to 39 days in jail after pleading guilty to breaking the terms of probation. So it's interesting. You know, he had warrants. He challenged the police, and the police met the challenge, and no one had to get killed over it. No one had to chase him down. No one had to have a squad car speeding through town to chase after him. He just like, "Okay, you do this thing and I'll turn myself in." Okay. I'm surprised that the police department did get that many shares than it was going to. So I guess the long and short is, don't do a crime and then, say, I did this thing and you can't catch me or whatever on a public area. That's just hilarious. That's completely hilarious.
And dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dumb. But you know what? I think the donuts made up for it. Donut. Sorry, I don't do a very good Homer Simpson impersonation.
Donuts. I actually have a Trump story also, that apparently Trump's been going around saying that no one else is called fallen soldiers or whatever. And he disrespected the son of one of the fallen, apparently. The mother of the soldier that was killed in the ambush that we had mentioned earlier said that on Wednesday, President Trump did disrespect my son with remarks that in a condolence telephone call. Sergeant Lieutenant Davis T. Johnson's mother, Coinda Jones Johnson, told the Washington Post that she was present during the call from the White House on Tuesday to Johnson's widow, Mashia. I'm probably murdering that name. Johnson, she also stood by an account of the call from Representative Frederica S. Wilson, Democrat, Florida, that Trump told Mashia Johnson that her husband must have known what he signed up for. That is horrible. That is horrible. Yeah, they know what they signed up for. Okay, there's no getting around that. But you don't have to say it like that.
No, that's totally disrespectful.
It is. I'm not the president.
If I was a president, I would not say that.
No, I wouldn't say it either. If I were the president, I would have said, "My condolences on the loss of your son." And I would not say, "Well, you know what he signed up for."
Yeah, that's totally ridiculous.
That's cruel. It's cruel.
Yeah, that's as bad as dealing for the national anthem.
Trump lashed back at Wilson, saying he denied her account in a Twitter message on Wednesday, saying he had proof, quote unquote, that the exchange did not go as Wilson had described. Trump did not elaborate. Of course, he always says that. "Oh, you better hope I don't have tapes." Oh, well, I hope you do, Trump. I hope you have tapes. Where's your proof? You've done this before. This is a typical tactic of Trump. He says, "Well, I have proof that didn't happen." Okay, where's your proof? Can you present proof? If you have tapes, and I'm sure that you're going to claim you do, let's hear him. I want to hear him. I bet you don't. I bet you don't. I bet you're lying like you always do.
Oh, yeah. He's a pathological liar. Mm-hmm. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
Yeah, now it continues here, though. Like I said, he claims he had proof, but White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said that the president did not tape the conversation. Oh, so you don't have proof. You said you have proof, but there's no tapes, so there's no proof. Are you going to pull somebody in from the GOP that maybe wasn't even there in the room and say, yeah, they heard the whole conversation. They were on the extension line in another room? Please. She said several staffers were in the room during the call. Sanders described Trump's call as completely respectful. You know, I think, and I agree that that's the only thing I'm going to agree with her on this point. A call like that is very difficult to do, but say it was respectful. Now there's the lie. Sanders is another one of those people who gets up there and lies her tail off because reasons. I'm going to go a little ad hominem. Have you ever seen her look forward? She looks like she's looking in two different directions.
A little bit.
I don't know where. I don't know. I don't know which way she's looking. I don't. She's looking left and right at the same time. Which way are you looking?
I actually went to school with somebody that had eyes like that, and this is back in grammar school. It was, it's just flashbacks.
Yeah. She continues on. She says the hardest job is making that call like that. Sanders said, I think it's upon that Congresswoman has done in politicizing Trump's condolence calls. Really? You're willing to politicize other things for your own narrative, but when somebody calls you out for the crappy things that you've done, and that's bad. No, you doing the thing for lying for Trump, that's the bad thing. And the fact that you're willing to lie for Trump, you're doing a bad.
Right. But that's the narrative, though. That's standard operating procedure these days is to lie.
Yes. It's just...
Or deny.
Yeah, lie or deny.
For the past 3 administrations, that's been the case.
Yeah. The worst part about this is for a long time, for several weeks after this had happened, when the soldiers' bodies came in, Trump wasn't there. There's pictures of Obama coming in when soldiers fell. He was there, saluting when they came in.
Right. Trump
was out golfing with somebody when that happened because they're always talking about disrespecting the soldiers. He is the biggest disrespecter of those soldiers.
Yeah, I don't see Fox News on this.
Yeah. No, of course not. They won't because that's their golden boy. This is their Jesus.
Yeah.
This is why they don't say anything, because Trump is their Jesus. And the fact is that the right wing, the religious right wing, they think this is his Jesus. They're thinking he's Jesus too. I won't even go into with what he said to Pence. Don't ask that guy. He wants to hang all the gay people. But that's another story. We'll cover that maybe during the Friday show. Maybe. I don't know. It all depends. Anyway, we have to get out of here. I want to thank everybody that came to the show. If you would like to donate to Tucker, there'll be a link down below to help him out. Send him $1 if you can and help get him through until he gets, back on his feet or gets another job or whatever. So give him a shout out. Let him know that you heard us talk about him on the show, and let him know that you've donated if you did or anything, or just get the word out. That'd be helpful too. We'll see you on Friday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And that's a wrap.